Hi everybody, it's me, Teresa Perrin. I wanted to discuss MMAT and MMTLP with you. I believe that we're going to have a wild 2 weeks ahead of us. I think shorts are going to come on strong. Initially, eventually, guys, though, they're going to have to cover. Now, will they start covering this week? I honestly don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, but the short interest is piling up, and you know, they're not going to have much of a choice because once this date closes, December 12th is the record date and December 14th is the day that everything ends, right? You know, there's nothing left for them. As far as I understand it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is that shorts need to cover by then. Now, do they have to cover by the 12th? Do they have to cover by the 14th? That's where the confusion lies. I'm really not sure, and I think it would be by the 14th. However, will brokerages, close out short positions prior to that? It's a very real possibility, especially if the price starts to skyrocket. They may forcibly liquidate those short positions. That's always a risk that people take, especially if they don't have the finances in their account to settle them, guys. Then it becomes an even higher risk, right? So at any rate, let's get started. I want to take a look at a couple things people are talking about online, as well as what we're showing for short interest today. Please smash that like button for me. I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, so MMTLP this weekend is number 10 on the watchers list. It's kind of moving down, which I found interesting. I'm not quite sure why, but there's a lot of stocks that are getting more attention than it. Will that change? Probably during the week, because as you can see, if you go to the most active, you get Dogecoin as number 1, which I'm not surprised because it was up substantially this weekend. But you know, MMTLP is still ranking at number 6, and MMAT is not on this list anymore, guys, this weekend anyways. If you go to trending, it's mostly crypto, and neither of these tickers are mentioned there. However, it's great that we are still ranking because that means that people are still talking about us over a holiday weekend. So I like to see that. Now, on Friday, volume was quite low. I'm sorry, in MMTLP was kind of low. In MMAT, though, the volume in the market overall was quite low. Let me rephrase that. But in MMAT, despite the fact that it was only a half day, we still traded more than our average volume. Normally, we trade 10.15 million shares, and on Friday, we traded 10.58 million shares. So I found that to be positive as well. Now, the 52-week low in MMAT is 63 cents, and the 52-week high is $4.06. And the free float is huge, 267.13 million shares. So, you know, there's definitely a lot of action going on right now, even in MMAT. In MMTLP, the volume, like I stated earlier, was fairly low, and that was 236.18 thousand shares, and the average is 363.45 thousand shares. Now look at the turnover percentage, 0.08%, which tells me, guys, there's very few people trading this. There's very few people selling this. I think there's a lot of buying pressure and not a whole lot of selling pressure. The selling pressure, if we do see any, I suspect is day trading. The free float is 206.45 million in this ticker. And the 52-week low is showing at a penny, which I think that was just the start price before they started actually trading this, like the holder for the dividend that was supposed to occur. But then when they started trading it, as you can see, we've gotten as high as $12.25. We closed out the week at $10.07. It was up 6% on Friday. Guys, you know, I think this is going to continue to climb, but I think there's going to be a lot of volatility. It's going to have dips and it's going to have rips. And that's what I see happening over the next 2 weeks. It's going to definitely be interesting to watch. And see what ends up playing out. Now, going back to MMAT for a minute, we're still showing short term that we're going to decline, but medium and long term go up. So do we have a little bit more of a pullback here? I'm not sure, because I've seen this before and I've seen us rocket when it says this, so it's really hard to say, guys. But the good news is that we are in an uptrend right now, which you can clearly see by this. And MMAT is given a buy rating by the analysts that rank it, with a low price target of $2, a high of $3.50, and an average of $2.50. Guys, that's going to not even come into play, because right now we're talking about a squeeze, but I just wanted to tell you that it's actually ranked a buy, because I think that's important to know. Now, a couple things I wanted to point out. Metamaterials is showing that the short interest is only 6,356,100. Now, guys, remember, short interest is self-reported. I am seeing all kinds of crazy numbers out there, and the reality is it's hard to really know what the truth is, but it's still showing as 4 days to cover. So I wanted to bring that to your attention, because at 6 million shares, if it takes four days to cover, if they have as many as 80 million and what other people are stating out there, which again, I'm only showing you the facts of what I can see. I am not sure where they're getting those numbers from. These numbers are coming from Benzinga Pro. But, you know, if they are that high, if the failure to delivers are through the roof, guys, then they're screwed. And I think they're going to have to start covering sooner than next week, because there's 4 days. So when are they going to do that? I mean, it's definitely going to be a wild ride for the next couple of weeks, that's for sure. But I just thought I'd bring that to your attention as well. And then let's look at MMAT, and then I want to just discuss a couple of things. So MMAT, the short interest is showing at 12.40% with 1.37 days to cover. So as you can see, that's been going up. There's only 100,000 shares available to borrow. The cost to borrow, guys, is going up. It's between 19.97 and 36.19%, with the most recent being 36.19. And as you can see, the short volume ratio has been above 50% for the last 2 weeks. So they're very heavily shorting this still, between 51.37 and 61.21% short. And on Friday, 57.28% short. Crazy. Again, that's the short volume ratio, so that's the shorting going on in the dark pool. And then, as you can see, the FTDs do not come into play at this point in MMAT, but we want to watch them, because over the next coming weeks, they could, if this starts to gain momentum. Now, the couple things. This is from MMTLP_now, who says MMAT is #1 on the Gamma Squeeze leaderboard. So, guys, could this potentially be a short/gamma squeeze for MMAT? It's absolutely a possibility. The options chain is starting to get jacked, so we'll see how that plays out and if that rips. Now, here is a conversation that I wanted to share with everybody, because this, I forget if I found this on Stock Twitter or on Weeble, so forgive me, but Stonk Mescuti says that John Breda states that shares will not be tradable after close on the 12th. Well, someone points out that they also said that the placeholder wasn't supposed to be tradable either, which it wasn't. So rules are meant to be broken, apparently, on Wall Street, guys. So take that with a grain of salt, because my understanding is that anybody who sells it after the 12th will lose their shares. You know, for as far as the Northbridge shares go, they'll get the money, and that whoever buys them will get it. So could this be tradable to the 14th? In my opinion, from what I see, it's certainly a possibility. Will it? I honestly don't know. It's somewhere between the 12th and the 14th that it's going to stop trading. So if you don't want it, to be safe, you may want to consider getting out by the 12th. But is it going to be something like support and agree, where that very last day before it became GREE was the day that it freaking skyrocketed to the moon? on the 14th, I don't know. So that's something that I'd like a little more clarity on. There are people that I see screenshotting questions to their brokerages, but they're saying that they don't have enough information yet to tell them that. So it'll be very interesting. But then Reginald Samuel says, the shorts will try to manipulate their way into not covering and closing their position. So we have to be careful with our plan. On distribution dates, our shares will have a $0 value until the dividend is issued. Yeah, guys, because we have no idea what the value is going to be. If you hold your Northbridge, then prepare to hold. And that brings up a good point. If you hold your Northbridge, if you hold the shares into, becoming Northbridge shares, then you need to hang on and not expect things to move rapidly. It's going to be like waiting for this day all over again. It could take a very long time. We have no way of knowing. I'm not sure the value will be zero. It'll be worth whatever the private equity is in Northbridge. I have friends that are in that have stock in their company that's not publicly traded, and it's assigned a value. So I don't know that it's going to say zero, but I don't know that it'll be accurate of what the true reflection is because they don't have the prices ready for that. And guys, as far as people who've done the math and done the DD, I'm seeing figures anywhere from $30 to $80 per share of Northbridge. Whether or not that's true, I just don't know. And I don't know if anyone could tell you 100% what it is because we won't know until it gets sold, right? What's the price of oil at that point? It could be higher. It could be lower. It's just very hard to say. So guys, let's see. There's one other thing. All you need to know. Okay, this is Tortle. All you need to know is if you sell before market closes on the 12th, you do not get Nextbridge. If you hold, then you do. Nextbridge will be distributed on the 14th. If you hold MMTLP through the 12th and sell before the 14th, then your Nextbridge shares will be distributed to who you sold MMTLP to. Yes, guys, that is 100% my understanding of it. And I believe that I just stated that above, but I like his response here because I believe that that's accurate. If anybody feels differently, please let me know in the comments below. I hope that you found this helpful and have a great rest of your weekend.